Hey guys, Tyler Casey here again. Welcome to episode 3 of the Ideas in Capital show. Today I'm going to talk about the lonely realities of entrepreneurship from my experience founding more than a dozen businesses and currently running the handful that still exist. The reality is, most people want the upside of entrepreneurship. They want freedom, they want flexibility, they want money. They want the control. They want to be their own boss. But very few people are actually prepared for the work that it takes or for the emotional and potentially physical costs. Entrepreneurship is very lonely. It's hard. You will deal with an amount of rejection most human beings are not wired to handle. You will lose support from people you thought would always support you. You'll go through financial pressure that keeps you awake at night. You will doubt yourself, and you will build and rebuild your life over and over again. Today I want to talk about the part no one puts on social media because if you're now and it feels heavier than you expected, you're not crazy. You're just in the real version of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is lonely. No one tells you how isolating it will be. When you become the decision maker, something shifts. You lose the ability to complain upward. There's no boss to blame. There's no one above you absorbing all the pressure. It all funnels to you. When payroll hits, it's on you. When a deal falls apart, it's on you. When an employee makes a mistake, it's on you. When an investor has concerns, it's on you. And you can't always process that weight publicly or even privately. You can't dump stress on your team. You can't create instability by venting recklessly. You have to absorb more than you release. That creates emotional isolation. And then something else happens. As you grow, your life starts to look different from the people around you. Your risk tolerance changes, your schedule changes, your conversations change, your priorities change. You start thinking in decades instead of weekends. You start thinking about capital allocation instead of entertainment. And sometimes your friends, your family, they don't understand that shift. You skip events. You say no more often. You protect your time, not because you don't care, but because you're building something. And over time, growth creates some distance. Not hostility, not drama, just distance between people you care about. Entrepreneurship doesn't always separate you intentionally, but growth creates some separation naturally, and it can feel really lonely. Another thing is rejection is constant. If you can't handle rejection, entrepreneurship will absolutely break you. You'll hear no constantly. Banks will say no. Investors will say no. Deals will die. Cities will push back. Vendors will fail. Hires won't work out. You can do months of work with zero compensation and watch it evaporate in a 5-minute phone call. And sometimes the hardest rejection doesn't come from institutions. It comes from people close to you. Friends who think you're being reckless. They don't see the value in what you're doing or have to offer, even if it would be good for them. The people who should trust you the most don't always trust you the most. Family who thinks you're unstable also don't see value in what you have to offer, even if it would be good for them. Again, these same people who should trust you implicitly, know you better than anyone, don't always act on that, don't always support you. People who subtly hope you go back to something safe, that one stings, because you expect resistance from the outside. You don't expect it from your circle, from the people you care about. But here's what you have to learn. Rejection is just data. It's not identity. It's not personal. A bank declining a deal isn't a statement about your worth. An investor passing isn't a statement about your competence. It's just a mismatch of timing, structure, vision. But it definitely still hurts pretty much every time. These are the moments where you start to question yourself. Maybe they're right. Maybe this is too aggressive. Maybe I'm in over my head. And that voice gets louder when you're under an immense amount of stress. Learning to metabolize that rejection without internalizing it is a critical skill. Most people never develop it because they never have to. Entrepreneurs have to. Financial stress is different. There will be seasons of financial pressure that most employees will never experience. And I don't say that disrespectfully, it's just different. When you're an employee, financial stress is usually personal. When you're an entrepreneur, financial stress becomes multiplied, and the numbers, if you're successful, become much bigger. You're responsible for payroll, you're responsible for investor capital, you're responsible for vendor relationships, you're responsible for debt obligations. You can do everything right and still have a rough patch. Deal that was supposed to close doesn't. Capital that was verbally committed disappears. An unexpected expense hits across multiple properties, or a government regulation you never even knew existed cost you thousands, or a tax bill you didn't plan comes along and 6 figures in my case a couple of times. Or you don't understand how an insurance product works and get hit with an unexpected 5-6 figure surprise. These things will happen to you. The market shifts faster than you model. Suddenly you're staring at numbers going, how am I ever going to survive this? How am I going to pay the bills? Those are the nights you don't sleep much. I've had hundreds of sleepless nights in my business journey over the last 18 years. Those are the mornings that you just have to show up composed, internally thinking through the scenarios. Your resilience is going to be tested. Entrepreneurship exposes every weakness in your financial structure. If you're over leveraged, you'll feel it. If you're undercapitalized, you'll feel it. If your margins are thin, you'll feel it. But it also sharpens you. It forces discipline, it forces clarity, it forces better underwriting, it forces better systems. Comfort rarely builds strength, pressure does. Also, doubt is part of the process. Every serious entrepreneur goes through an identity level doubt, not once, multiple times. There will be seasons where you ask, am I actually good at this? Did I just get lucky? Is this all about to collapse around me? Should I just go do something simpler? And the larger you grow, the heavier that doubt can feel, because the stakes get bigger, the responsibility expands, the margin for error narrows. And here's something important. Entrepreneurship is not building once. It's rebuilding continuously. We've rebuilt ourselves as human beings and as a business dozens of times over 18 years. You build a team, someone leaves, you rebuild. You build systems and they break at scale, you rebuild. You structure capital and the market shifts, you restructure. You hit a ceiling and realize what got you here won't get you there. You evolve. This cycle never fully stops. There's not a time where you just feel like I've arrived and this is now easy. You level up and the game changes again. If you expect stability to be permanent, you'll be frustrated. If you expect rebuilding to be normal, you'll be resilient. Some relationships you have will change. This is the part people don't like to admit. Growth strains relationships, not because you're arrogant, not because they're bad, because values, ambition, risk tolerance change. If you start prioritizing long-term vision over short-term comfort, if you start allocating capital differently, if your conversations revolve around building instead of consuming, some people won't relate the same way anymore, and that can be hurtful. You don't want to lose friends, you don't want to lose connection, but you also can't shrink to maintain comfort. And that tension, it's real, and you have to decide, are you optimizing for approval or for impact? You won't always get both. Why it's still worth it for some people. After all that, the loneliness, rejection, stress, doubt, rebuilding, why do it? Well, some people shouldn't do it. For those who should, here it is. Because entrepreneurship builds agency. It allows you to shape your environment instead of just reacting to it. It allows you to create opportunity, not just wait for it. This is both for yourself and others. It allows you to build systems that serve people, your customers, your team members, your investors, your community, and your family. It allows you to allocate capital intentionally in a way that not only grows your own wealth, but helps countless other people build their own dreams. This is one of my favorite parts. And most importantly, it changes you as a person. Entrepreneurship compresses growth. It forces you to mature. It forces you to have accountability. It forces you to think long term. It forces you to regulate your emotions. You become stronger than the version of you that started every time. And over time, something powerful happens. Your stability becomes internal. It's no longer dependent on applause. It's not dependent on approval. It's rooted in capability, and capability compounds just like capital. So if you're in a hard season right now, if it feels heavier than you expected, if you've lost support, if deals are slow, if finances are tight, if you're doubting yourself, you're not broken, you're not uniquely flawed, you're not the only one. You're in the refining process. Entrepreneurship isn't glamorous, it's refining, and refining feels like you're in a fire sometimes. But on the other side of that fire, you're going to be better, stronger, and that strength compounds over time. It becomes leverage. Stay in it, build, rebuild, adjust, grow. That's the real journey. And for those of you who are built for it, it's worth it.